This is a flip video about how to measure. So first let's start off with a little review about places. Here's a really big number, 1,342,365.1427. So just to remember, this spot right here is the millions spot, the millions place, hundred thousands, 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens, ones, and then after the decimal, these become tenths, that's with a THS, hundredths, thousands, and 10,000ths. For our purposes, we are more likely to deal with numbers in our lab that are within this range of places. So knowing for sure your hundreds, your tens, ones, tenths, hundredths, 10,000s, thousands, 10,000s is really important. Make sure that you're writing this down and that you have these places memorized if you don't already. Okay, now that we know and remember our places in a number, this video is going to talk about measuring correctly. So if you notice in this example right here, I have a ruler, and this ruler has a scale on it. And I like to measure this red line up here, okay? What are my rules about measurement? The first thing you want to remember is that you have to figure out what the scale goes up by, meaning what are the increments I see, and what is that scale going up by? So if you notice in this scale, I'm going up by tens. I got 10, 20, 30, okay? So this goes up by tens. Let's take a look again where the tens place is. This would be the tens place right here, right? This would be the tens place. I'm not going up by ones. I'm going up by tens, okay? So that's my first question. What does the scale go up by? And the answer is tens. All right, the next thing I need to do is remember you get to have one estimate beyond what you know, okay? Beyond what you know. So what the scale goes up by is tens. So what that means is this is what I know, okay? I am certain about the tens place. I am certain about it. So I get to have one more guess, right? I get to have one guess. So if I have the tens place plus one guess, where is that guess? Well, let's take a look. That would be in the ones place, right? The ones place would be my guess, all right? So if we notice this measurement is going to be greater than 10, but less than 20, right? That mark falls a little less than 20. So, as I said, this number is greater than 10 centimeters, but less than 20 centimeters. We know we have the tens place for sure, so let's write that in. This for sure is going to be 10, or starting with 1, I'm certain about that. This next place, the ones place, is my guess. It's what I'm uncertain about. Okay, so if we look at it, right, we're pretty close to the 20, not so close where it's butt up against it, so our final answers would be, 18 centimeters or 17 centimeters. Again, I'm certain about this place. My ones is my guess. Same thing here, certain, my 7 is my guess. Okay, and don't forget your unit. All right. So once you figure out what your scale goes up by, that's the place that you're certain about. That's the place you're certain about, right? The next place is your estimate. So let's take again a look at another example. Here's another ruler. What's the first thing you want to ask yourself is, what does the scale go up by? 1, 2, 3. This scale goes up by ones. It goes up in the ones place. Let's take a look again here and find our ones place. Here's our ones place. You get one more guess, and so next to the ones is the tenths place. So my guess is I'm for sure about the ones place. This is the part I'm certain about. And I get one more guess, and it happens to be in the tenths place. That's my guess. Okay? So again, you are certain about the ones place, and you get one uncertain, we also call it a guess, in the tenths place. So what would you guess this to be? Take a second right now, take a reading and put it in your notes. Hopefully you said somewhere around 2.2 centimeters or 2.3, right? You know, if halfway between this would have been 2.5, I would not say 2.4. It's a little cutting it close, okay? And don't forget your unit centimeters. Good? It's probably a good idea to sketch these rulers in your notes as well as the line we're measuring, okay? Let's do one last one. And we're going to do a graduated cylinder this time, something that you're likely to see in lab. Okay, here's my graduated cylinder. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what does the scale go up by? All right, so here we go. See all these increments? I see a 1, I see a 2, I see a 3. You can't forget the increments. That's what the scale goes up by. Even though they're not numbered, they're still there, so I have to count them. So if this is 1, what are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 increments? Let's see. That then is going to be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2. Now, a good rule of thumb is to actually write them in if you're working on paper. So I would have written 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Kind of write that in here. Oops. I was going to say 1.1. That's a mistake. There you go. 1.2, 1.3, and keep going. Okay? Now, I know the scale goes up then by in the tenths place, right? So it goes up in the tenths place. That's my last scale, right? It goes up by 0.1. Lots of students like to say that. Well, remember, 0.1 and the tenths place is the same thing. So let's find that here. Here we go, 0.1, the tenths place. So you get to have this place for sure because you're certain about it, but you get a guess. And your guess now is in the next place over, which is now the hundredths. Okay? So if we bring in our meniscus, we'll pretend this is our liquid. Right there. Read at the bottom of the meniscus, so the bottom of the curve. And I notice it's touching this increment right there. I know for sure between 1 and 2, and we just figured out our scale. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5. It's sitting on my 1.5, so 1.5. Now remember, I'm certain about that tenths place, but I get to have one more guess. And since it's sitting right on that line, I'm going to guess a perfect 1.50. Okay? Good. Let's do another one. What about this? What if this measurement is not sitting exactly on the line and it's kind of in between? All right, we already know the scale goes up in the tenths place, right? The tenths, it goes up by 0.1. Another way of saying it is it goes up by 0.1, right? Bring this back and ask yourself, if it goes up in this place, here's 0.1, you get one more. So you for sure get that, and you get a guess. You get one more, okay? I know that this is definitely greater than 1, less than 2, so it's 1 point. This is 1.9, and now I get a guess. Well, this is kind of pretty close to 2, so I'm going to guess 1.95. You could guess anything in your guess as long as you're somewhat close. So if you had guessed 1.91, 1.92, 1.93, 1.94, those would have still been okay, right? And then you want to make sure that you write the unit. So milliliters is the unit. Our graduated cylinder is in milliliters. All right, let's do one more. Put that measurement right around here. Okay, put the meniscus there. There we go. We know this goes up by the tenths place, right? So we for sure have this spot we're certain about. We get to have one more guess. So this for sure is 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6. I know for sure of the tenths place. That I'm certain about. I see a tick mark. I see an increment. The rest is a guess. This could be 2.63, 2.64, 2.65. This is a guess. You got to make it. I'm going to say this looks more like 2.66 milliliters, right? Again, your guess, if it's somewhat reasonable, it can vary. So like we said, that can be somewhat variable. So as long as you can answer the two questions, and that is, what does the scale go up by? And did you make your guess? Then you know how to do measurements. That's the end of the video.